Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our 12th Community Advisory Team meeting for the Bethesda area. Just to let you guys know, the meeting is being recorded tonight, and this will be posted to our website at purplelinemd.com, along with all the other supporting project materials, a couple of days after the meeting. So while we get started, please keep your microphones muted and your cameras off during the presentation. And please hold all questions until after our presentation. We'll have a big Q&A answer portion at the end of tonight's meeting. We also ask that you limit your questions to 1 minute at a time so we can get as many in as possible. For those of you that would like a live translation, the Teams format can translate that in the meeting live. And now our community liaison, Stephanie Villegas, will explain, and instructions are being placed in the chat on how to do that. Stephanie.
Buenas tardes y bienvenidos. La aplicación Teams puede traducir esta reunión en vivo en varios idiomas, incluyendo español, árabe, chino, francés y portugués y mucho más. Las instrucciones para ver las traducciones en vivo están en la sección del chat. Gracias. Back to you, Carla.
Thank you. Okay, so for tonight's meeting overview, next slide, please. Tonight, we're going to provide a project status, construction update, community engagement details, and we're going to save time for that Q&A at the end. Any questions that we are unable to cover tonight during the meeting will be answered in the Q&A summary that we posted to the website following the meeting. Next slide. Okay, so tonight you're going to hear from Ray Biggs II, our Senior Project Director with MTA, Doran Basso, CEO of Purple Line Transit Partners, Hugo Fontieres, Project Executive with MTS, as well as Scott Glass, our Area Construction Manager in charge of all of this work. And if you don't know me yet, my name is Carla Julian, and I'll be facilitating the meeting this evening, and I am with MTS and the Stakeholder and Communications Manager. So on to our focus. Our focus this evening will be the stations that you see here in front of you, including Bethesda and Connecticut Avenue. And so as we progress construction on the project, there's a lot of different phases that happen sequentially to advance this work. We have utility relocations going on, storm drain system installation, track installation, system utilities, and testing. And all of these things are occurring at the same time. Within our 16-mile alignment, within each segment, we're all in different phases. And quite a few segments, as you may have noticed, we're starting to see the canopies and track installation go in. So we're excited about that. So with that, we're going to show you our progress slide that features our project team leadership.
Welcome to the latest update on the Purple Line project. This year, we placed thousands of feet of track, an exciting example of tremendous progress being made by Purple Line crews. 2024 is set to be a year of momentum.
The Purple Line track installation teams will be reaching even more areas. Already, tracks have been placed at the southern end of the project, along Ellen Road and Veterans Parkway, and throughout the University of Maryland. The track at Campus Drive is embedded track, seamlessly integrated into the road surface. The Purple Line boasts 3 main types of tracks: embedded, ballast track, and direct fixation. Each plays a crucial role in our mission to ensure a smooth journey from New Carrollton to Bethesda. Progress is visible along the whole 16-mile alignment. In Bethesda, crews have put the custom-made sprung arch form system to work to cast the first sections of the new cavern ceiling. The cavern will connect the 130-foot deep shaft to Metro's Bethesda station. In Silver Spring, the new Purple Line station is rapidly taking shape. From the installation of utilities to the erection of canopies, progress is evident at every turn. But Silver Spring is just one of the 14 stations underway.
Station platforms
are also emerging at key locations like Connecticut Avenue, Littonsville, Campus Drive at the University of Maryland, College Park, and Glen Ridge, among others. In December, crews poured an impressive 720 cubic yards of concrete in one day to form the roof of the tunnel extension between Wayne Avenue and the Manchester Place station. We also finished the concrete, fencing, and paving needed to open the new and improved Talbot Avenue Bridge, which is part of the Capitol Crescent Trail and an important connection for the communities of Woodside and Littonsville. In Prince George's County, the Kenilworth East-West Highway Flyover Bridge, which is made up of over 617 tons of steel, has been installed over this very busy intersection. In Glen Ridge, the Operations and Maintenance Facility prepares to be the heart of our operations. Here you'll find a variety of specialty track segments. These segments are essential for guiding our light rail vehicles as they navigate through the facility. Inside the OMF, state-of-the-art cranes and meticulously designed workspaces stand ready to handle everything from routine maintenance to major repairs. While we celebrate these achievements, there is still much work ahead.
As you can see, we have more visible tracks, stations taking shape, and complete bridges as a few of the Purple Line's most exciting milestones this year. This time next year, you can expect to see the Purple Line light rail vehicles begin testing on the new test track located in Prince George's County. More exciting news is coming soon, so please follow our social media and subscribe to our newsletter to stay up to date. We are connecting communities through Prince George's and Montgomery counties with Maryland's newest light rail system, the Purple Line.
Good evening again, everyone. Construction activities have continued to ramp up over the last 18 months. And as you just saw in the video, active Purple Line construction can be seen along the entire alignment. With all the work moving ahead, we look forward to the anticipated arrival of our light rail vehicles at the new Glen Ridge Operations and Maintenance Facility later this spring. The test track area, which is centered around the Glen Ridge Operations and Maintenance Facility, is scheduled for completion in the summer of this year, kicking off a period of intensive local testing, integrated testing, and initial operator training while construction continues elsewhere along the alignment. Now, by spring 2026, construction across the entire alignment will have progressed enough to allow for system-wide testing, full operational training, and the commissioning activities necessary to prove out a safe and ready light rail system. As announced back in March, the Purple Line is scheduled to open for service in winter of 2027. Now I'll turn it over to Scott Glass to provide an update on all the exciting construction activities happening in this area. Scott?
Thank you, Ray. My name's Scott Glass. I'm the area manager of our work zone from Bethesda to just past Silver Spring. I'm going to walk you through some of our progress in that area. Before we start, I just wanted to provide a little bit of information about some of the commonly used terminology on the Purple Line. Duct bank is a frequent word that we say on the project, and just to explain, give a basic explanation of what the duct bank is being installed on the project. There's a primary duct bank structure, as you can see in this picture, that houses the underground cables. It protects the cables and contains space for future connections, and it houses vital communications and train systems for the communications network. It's installed, we have a primary duct bank that's installed right alongside the trail, the full alignment, and then there's numerous duct banks that feed the various power centers that we have across the system and all of the various platforms and stations. Next slide, please. To update a little bit on the progress in Bethesda, our recent and ongoing work over the last several months, we've gotten our excavation down to the first level before we progress into the next stage. And at this level of the excavation, we've completed the upper level excavation of the main cavern. And we've installed, as you saw in the video, we've installed our first concrete structure, which is an arch beam structure that we had some custom formwork fabricated. That is a lot of moving parts and hydraulic connections to lift and raise this heavy structure into place so that it can support the heavy weight of the concrete load while it's being placed. We've since advanced this to start the placement of the roof concrete inside the main cavern. And over the next stage of construction, we'll continue to complete the roof concrete construction in the main cavern, and we'll begin our next phase of rock excavation, where our blasting will resume sometime in the next 45 days. Next slide, please. In the Bethesda Purple Line station, which is under the Elm property building, we have continued to install a lot of the mechanical and electrical systems in that station, and we've begun the platform construction. You can see we've started we've got actually most of the platform walls completed, and we've been installing a lot of the utilities that go inside the platform. And we've started the access, the vertical access from the station to the street level with the installation of the elevator truss, and we are now constructing the concrete stairs that go alongside of those. In the upcoming work in the station, we'll be completing all of the below platform utilities and starting the placement and completing the placement of the platform slab. And then we'll also complete the vertical access to the plaza level, the concrete steps, and there's also an elevator in this location as well. Next. As we head east on the alignment, we enter the next about 600 feet of the Purple Line alignment that passes below several existing buildings to the east of Wisconsin Avenue. This is called the Bethesda Enclosed Trainway, or the BET. And we've been working through the last year to do several elements of construction here that have to do with replacing cross beams that brace between the buildings. You can kind of see one in the foreground, just in the dirt there. There's about a dozen of these that had to be removed and replaced in a very technical process as we went along through there. And then we've also, you can see in these photos, constructed the foundations for what will be the steel structure that supports exhaust fans that ventilate this whole tunnel area. And there's also a safety walk, sidewalk that runs alongside this foundation. And then we'll begin, over the next several months, we'll be installing the drainage system that runs through here, along with the rail bed. This is all direct fixation track. So the rail gets installed on small concrete pedestals right on a concrete slab. And then just behind us in this picture is the Wisconsin Bridge area, where we've been working on improvements to the existing bridge that include paint removal and repainting the existing steel girders on that bridge. Next slide, please. So as we leave the alignment just outside of this Bethesda Enclosed Trainway, we're at the location at the foot of Pearl Street. And it's here where the CCT crosses over into the Elm Street. We've completed the concrete ramp that runs from the CCT bridge and travels downward into the terminal location at Elm Street. And we've completed most of all the concrete walls in this area between Pearl Street and East-West Highway. And we've begun the installation. Well, we will very soon be starting the installation of the fence that goes on the pedestrian walkway on the ramp. We'll be completing this pour on this bridge, and we'll be getting into some of the small retaining walls that turn into Pearl Street so that we can make way for the final grading and preparations for the start of the trail. From Pearl Street all the way out to Connecticut Avenue, we've had our rail contractor installing the track. We've continued and completed most of the retaining walls through this corridor, and we've started the tie-ins for the CCT connector trails at East-West Highway. We've done all the final grading for the ballast, and we've got the, as I mentioned, the track being installed. Right now, they have most of the track installed for both tracks from Connecticut Avenue down to Lynn Drive. And they'll be finishing that up over the next few months and continuing the progress of that track installation to the east. Upcoming work through this area, we'll be focusing on finishing up. We have some noise walls to finish up, the installation of the noise wall panels that get installed on top of the retaining walls that are now completed, and finishing the track installations and the trail connections into East-West Highway, Connecticut Avenue, and starting that paving of that CCT trail. Next slide. At the Connecticut Avenue station, we've completed the platforms at the Connecticut Avenue station, and we've installed most of the canopies that are at that platform stop. And we've been doing a lot of utility installations through this area, and we'll be continuing to do a lot of the utilities that service this stop. We've begun the construction on the stair access. There's at least 2 stair access locations to this station, and we'll be continuing that work through the next several months, completing all of the steel erection and concrete construction, as well as the elevator and stair structures. We'll complete the placement of the bridge deck on the CCT bridge over Connecticut Avenue. And then we have approach slabs that we actually are just finishing up now for the light rail train bridge at Connecticut Avenue. And then, as I mentioned earlier, the track will continue being installed from Connecticut Avenue to the east. At Chevy Chase Lakes, we've got our gas line relocation completed now. We're continuing on overhead utility relocations. There's wall construction throughout this area that we've begun, and there is storm drain work for the storm drain outfall south at Chevy Chase Lakes Drive that's underway now. Up and coming in this area, we'll be completing this overhead utility relocation, and there's water and sewer relocations that are scheduled to occur over the next couple of months in this area as well. And then we'll complete the installation of the box culvert that's identified in this area, in this work zone area. At Coquelin Run, at the Coquelin Run stream crossing, we completed the stream underpass, and we've begun the wall installations through that area for the head walls. The up and coming work in this area, we have ground improvements that need to be finished up to finish up the Coquelin Run stream head walls, and then we'll be finishing up the stream restoration and the pedestrian underpass. Next slide. At Jones Mill Road, we've, after a long time trying to get some resolution, we're pretty close now within the final weeks of being ready to do our traffic switch here, but we finally got a lot of the utility relocations completed in this area, and the curbs and sidewalks on the east side of the bridge, restoration that needed to happen on that side of the road, including the asphalt paving. There was wing walls on the east side of the road that we've now got completed. And we are in the final stages of implementing that traffic switch so that we can start our work on the west side of that road and finally put this all behind us later through this year. But we're beginning the construction of the west wing walls that are on the west side of that roadway, and then we'll be beginning the construction of the phase 2 west side structure. At Rock Creek Park, there's been a lot of work underway in this area on the stream restoration and the slope restorations, embankment restorations. Those are now complete, and we've restored the Rock Creek Trail. Pretty soon we'll be reopening the Rock Creek Trail in this area and completing the East Bank embankment restoration. We'll then get the installation. Our bridge is being fabricated, and we'll be erecting the CCT bridge over Rock Creek this summer. And that's all I have. I forget who I'm handing it off to.
We're going to play a safety video.
Safety is our #1 priority, both for our crews that are building the Purple Line and for the public. As we shift into track installation, you will see more and more work in the roadways and crews implementing lane shifts and detours. This could also include pedestrian walkways. So please take your time and follow all the posted signage. And if you see something amiss, please call our hotline.
Great. Well, thank you, Scott, for sharing all that progress. And as we get to the end of the presentation today, we wanted to spend a little bit of time on community engagement, which we're doing here tonight. If we could go to the next slide, please. The Purple Line team is fortunate to be a part of this community, and we take that responsibility seriously. So tonight we wanted to take the opportunity to once again share information about our Beyond the Rails community grant program. We had recently awarded the first 6 community grants earlier in the year, and we are calling on applications for the next 6 with a deadline of May 31st. And this program is aimed at supporting existing nonprofits and other community groups by amplifying the great work that they're already doing in the community by providing additional funding. All the details you need are available on our website, purplelinemd.com. And we encourage you to spread the word, apply for a grant, and hopefully help us make the community just a little bit better. And on the next slide, you will see not only our website, purplelinemd.com, but also ways to get in contact with us. If you have questions or concerns, you can reach outreach at purplelinemd.com. There's a special media email as well and a phone number for us. And with that, I'll hand it over to Ray to close this part of the meeting.
Great, thank you, Doran. Now we're finished with the presentation. Now we turn it over to you for Q&A from all the attendees. I see we have one question that's popped up in the chat and a hand up. Let's start with the question in the chat and then go to the first person with their hand up.
Okay, our first chat question is, what is the Copeland Run Stream Underpass mean? Scott?
Yes, Scott.
That is a stream crossing where the existing Copeland Run runs underneath the future rail, and we have a culvert structure. It's called. It's kind of like a tunnel almost that the stream will continue to run, and the train will run over top.
Okay, we have one other chat question. I'll do that one and give it back to you for hands up, Ray. Will the Elm Street pedestrian bridge be open to the public in time for the new school year so that BCC students can use it to walk to school?
That's a Scott question too.
Oh, we will finish up the access, the physical access should be all completed on the Elm Street Bridge and the access ramp down to the Elm Park, and by the end of the summer. But the question really will have to there's a couple of elements on that bridge with regarding the fencing and also the lighting that it's not really a commitment that I can make because I'm not sure how what time it will take to close those open loops that are still out there. So, no commitments now.
But we will keep you updated on when that will open.
Great. So I guess we'll go to the hands now. And my apologies if I mispronounced your name incorrect. Is it Rafe Peterson?
It's Rafe, thanks.
Rafe.
Yeah, I just have a question about Rock Creek Trail. So in February, you guys posted a sign saying it'd be closed for approximately 4 weeks. I've sent emails to that outreach and never gotten a response other than we're working on an answer for you. And, you've already closed one of the main trails that we had as an amenity, and now you've closed that, and it completely cuts off our neighborhood. So, when realistically is it going to be closed, and are you done, closing these trails? I don't understand. Like, it's 3 times longer than you said it would be, and it's still not open.
Yes, we had a lot of challenges with the restoration of that embankment. There was design changes that had to happen, and when we make design changes in those stream areas, they have to go through a lot of I call it verification with the Department of the Environment, and we can't, address those without getting those design changes verified by the Department of the Environment. So some of those things we're, unable to forecast. If we didn't have rules, we'd be able to blow through and do a lot of things a lot faster. And that's just one of the challenges of the whole project, is always trying to, build the elements with the limited access and the other technical challenges of the work, but also doing the best that we can to minimize the impact to the public. But getting through that Rock Creek, we should have that opened in the next in the coming month, a couple of months. And then
months. It's going to be closed for several more months.
It should be within the next month.
Wow. Okay. That's as you can imagine, as a resident, that's incredibly frustrating.
Yeah, another one of the challenges in those stream areas, especially when we're working down low, is the rain events. The rain events can cause a lot of washout of work and reestablishment, and that also requires a lot of coordination with the state inspections.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Great. We'll go to the next question. Gary.
Hi, thanks for taking my question. You mentioned in your presentation that the track would be complete enough to start your system-wide testing in the spring of 26, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, when that's done, will the Capitol Crescent Trail be completed at that time as well?
So as we mentioned before, we are working very hard to try to open the Capitol Crescent Trail earlier than the revenue service date. I can't commit to any date, but we are working very closely with the contractor right now to open it as soon as we can. I will say that it will be ahead of the revenue service date.
I'm sorry, it will be?
Will be ahead of the revenue service date.
Gotcha. Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's go to Irene Lane.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I had actually two questions. You mentioned, someone mentioned during the presentation that there's going to be some Copeland Run stream restoration work. Can you provide a bit more detail on what that entails?
Yeah, when we go through these some of these more sensitive environmental crossings, there is a reestablishment design of basically recreating that the ecology that runs through that area, and that particular run, there's details to it as far as what kind of establishment goes on the bottom of the stream bed through that area, but it has everything to do with that culvert that I mentioned earlier, that tunnel that goes through there, and then both the approach of the water flowing to it and the water coming out of it, and the restoration of the embankment, where there's been any disturbance, to reestablish the ecology there.
So is it just limited to that area? Would we be able to get some sort of a mapping? Copeland Run is quite extensively run, including starting around the Bethesda neighborhood area. So we're just wondering how extensive that restoration will run.
Yeah, I think we can probably get with Carla and get some information out there on where the limits of that restoration is.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll make note of that. No problem.
Thank you, Carla. My next question is with respect to the noise wall installation that's being installed behind the town of Chevy Chase. Do you have a date in mind as to when that will be completed?
That's called a Type E noise wall. Are you talking about the clear wall?
No, it's the additional height that had been agreed upon.
Yes, yeah, that's one of the areas that we haven't installed yet, and that's a wall that gets installed on top of retaining wall. That is expected to happen this summer.
This summer? Okay. Thank you.
That's the last hand to see you up, and good to see you again, Irene. Any other questions from anyone? Do we have any more in the chat, Carla?
Somebody's got their hand up.
Yeah, we do have a few more chat questions too, if you want me to jump to that right now. We had a clarification on opening during winter of 2027. Is that the beginning or end of the year?
December 2027.
Next question is, when will construction of the CCT access point in East Bethesda begin?
Would that, I'm not sure if that is the Woodside, the Woodmont Plaza. That would be our west limit of the project, but that would,
I think they're likely talking about the trail entrances.
Yeah, Carla, it's the one. This is Andy. It's the ones at Seaford Road, of which is a tunnel underneath there, as well as the one at Kentberry Drive, Kentberry Way. So those are the two access points in East Bethesda.
Yeah, I don't know the specific timeline for when those. You're saying when they'll be opened up or when they'll be connected?
Yes, just construction. I mean, the one at Sleaford is probably 2/3 finished, and the one at Kentberry Way, Kentberry Drive, has been closed now for about 5 years, and they would need to be reopened and redone. So,
yeah, we can get you some, realistic, more specific timelines on that because I'm not sure off the without double checking.
Yeah, and just a reminder, everybody, this meeting's only focused on the next 6 months ahead, but we'll take note of that. And as our schedule progresses, we'll continue to share that information with you.
Thanks, Carla. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Next question is, can you describe the alignment of the Capitol Crescent Trail around Wisconsin Avenue? When finished, will it go under Wisconsin Avenue parallel to the tracks or up to Elm Street and cross Wisconsin at grade?
Well, the Capitol Crescent Trail terminates on the Purple Line project at Elm Street. I think that there's been some changes in the county's plans with regard to how they're going to connect that to the Woodmont Plaza area. There's been bike lanes that have been added to do that in the meantime. And that's what I know right now.
Okay. Aletta, I will definitely copy you on the Copeland Run restoration information. Next question is, how long will the other side of Jones Mill take? I guess through construction.
Yeah, I mean, managing expectations will probably be looking at towards the end of the year into next year.
And Paige Carr, where can we see more detailed drawings or other explanations of plans? Paige, if you want to shoot me a note on exactly what you're interested in, I'll help pull those together and get them to you. Okay, next is, I understand that there are 4 engineering companies that have been shortlisted to work on this project. Do you know or can you name the 4? The 2 main construction companies that are in Maryland Transit Solutions are Dragados USA and OHLA. Now, we have different main subcontractors and suppliers and designers that support us. If you want to shoot me a note, I'll be happy to send you that organization or explain that further to you.
And Carla, there was one question from Hannah that said, could you review where the entrances to the Purple Line station will be in Bethesda? Scott, I don't know if you can describe that for us.
Yes, there is going to be access from Wisconsin Avenue right at Elm Street, the corner of Elm Street, where we currently have the temporary building and the road closed of West Elm Street there. There will be in that plaza entrance of that commercial building, there's a head house, we call it, which will basically be a location that you can enter both the Purple Line station and then access into the access, the shafts, the elevators that go down to the Red Line station. And then there will also be access on from the Woodmont side in Woodmont Plaza at the very west limit of the project. You will be able to access the west limit of the platform from that direction.
Appreciate it. Back to you, Carla.
Okay. When will the tracks be set behind the town of Chevy Chase?
They will be completed as far as the rail installation goes within the next 4 months.
Next question is, will the Bethesda end of the line have its own separate station, or will it connect to the existing Bethesda Metro station?
The Bethesda Purple Line station is its own independent station, and there is a connection to the Bethesda Metro station via a lobby, an underground lobby. So at the underground, Bethesda is an underground, the Bethesda Purple Line station is an underground station, and you will be able to walk through a lobby to get into an elevator corridor to go down to access the Red Line platform on WMATA's Red Line.
Okay, I think there's one more question in chat right now, so I'll do that, and then I'll hand it back over to you for hands, Ray. Is there a specific day when the transition at Jones Mill Road from one side to the other will be done?
Yes, there is a specific day, and it will be open fully to traffic early part of next year. We're going to try and make that earlier this year so that we can complete it before the asphalt paving usually stops because the plants close in late November, and we're going to try and make it before that time frame. But to manage the expectations, it's very possible it could be next spring.
Right. So now let's go to the live questions. Gary.
Yeah, you mentioned that there's going to be a clear noise wall that's going to be installed on top of the retaining wall. I think you said it was type E.
Yes.
Do you have a graphic of that? And also, what are the dimensions of that?
We do. Lauren, are you able to share what that graphic is I shared with you?
Yes, we can make sure we get it over to you, Gary. We got the information to you. We can share it to you right after the meeting.
Thank you.
That's the only. All right, Daniel. You can.
Hey, thanks a lot for a great presentation. Really good visuals too. You know, kind of a sensitive subject. I was using the metro the other day in Bethesda, and so you talked about the underground lobby connecting the Purple Line station to the metro. If you go to like go on the east side down and then go over to the metro station, you go through this beautiful tunnel with, you know, fantastic art pieces. But forgive me, here's my real experience. It smelled like a freaking like urinal the whole way. I felt so bad for the artists who had put up this beautiful art, but you could hardly breathe in the tunnel for the urine stench of the tunnel. So that made me think a little bit about like security and monitoring and CCTV. And if this were being built in England, like there'd be cameras everywhere and you'd be kind of watching it, make sure everybody's safe. I'm really curious about your philosophy on security, visual surveillance. Are you doing CCTV? And back to the original point that made me think of it is like, how do you keep people from like really defacing or spoiling the experience. I feel so bad for those artists on that tunnel between the east and west sides of the metro tunnel underneath Wisconsin. That's my question. Thanks so much. Appreciate all your hard work here.
Yeah, appreciate the question. I'll take the first stab at answering your question. As far as CCTV, that'd be at the stations across the project. Also, one item you brought up is how do we keep people from defacing the art and all of that. So MTA will have police that will be assigned to the Purple Line that will be along the Purple Line checking for all of these things and trying to ensure that we have security and safety. Also, we do have graffiti coating on the walls throughout the project, which helps with that. As we know, it will probably occur, but we have a system in place to make sure it gets corrected to keep the beautification of the project once it opens up. I don't know if you have anything else to add, Scott or Carla.
No, nothing to add to that. I don't see any other further questions in chat right now either. Oh, wait, hold on. We have one more. And will the track behind Hamlet Place and over Copeland Run be level and ready for tracks?
That is on our near frame timeline. Our forecast to get out that far with the rail is by fall of this year.
Okay, thank you. Also, Joel, you have been waiting. What is your question, sir?
Well, at least I have 3 questions. One already been answered about the entrance of the station. Is there going to be any entrance to the Purple Line at the bus loop? And the second one about the fare and transfer on my Smart Trip card. And I also did mention about the Metro benefits. That's going to tie into the, hopefully in the fare system when they open up. And the third one is the bus stops, or the Metro on the Connecticut Avenue, and the ride on Wisconsin Avenue. Are they going to keep the same bus stops here, or they have to remove it and they have to temporarily or permanently move the bus stops? That's my question. Thank you.
Yeah. So I know you said we answered your first one about Bethesda, the college bus loop. There will be, I think you're talking about College Park bus loop, where that bus loop will be. There will be a station there.
I'm talking about the Bethesda.
The Bethesda bus loop.
Yeah.
Scott, do you want to answer that one?
I don't have, I'm not familiar with that. I could follow up with you and get back to you on Bethesda busing. I can answer the question with regard to the bus stops, though. The bus stops that are in place now on Wisconsin Avenue in Connecticut, they will be restored where they've been temporarily, moved or closed for construction. I know that there's some stops. There's a long stretch there on Wisconsin Avenue with several construction projects that impact the bus stops.
And then on the fare, being able to use your Smart Trip card, that is something we are working to make sure that works. As you know, we connect to WMATA metro system at 4 locations. So that is crucial for that to work, and that will be part of the fare systems. And as far as the bus stops, I'm gonna make a commitment that by the next time we have a CAT meeting, we will have a more thorough answer for you, Joel, so we can have some more information to give to you about the bus stops and how they're going to work in the future. I'm committing that to myself, so I'll have that answer for you next time.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have any other questions? Please feel free to put them in chat or raise your hand. I don't see any so far.
Right, do you want to close this out, Carla?
Sure. Again, thanks everybody so much for your time. We know how frustrating construction and everything can be. So we really appreciate you working with us and patience as we work through the construction and get back to you all. Please don't be shy to reach out. And we look forward to continue to work with you guys. Have a great night. Thank you.